Hello, welcome in to your reading today, Original Soul. I hope you're doing really well. And thank you for clicking on the video, sharing your energy, and checking out what we've got here in this message. So, a couple cards out of the Mary Magdalene Oracle. A lot of inner reflection energy, trusting a little bit more about yourself, the signals that you get, and in timing. So we've got remembering, I know who I am, right? And look at how she's sitting in what looks like a busy bus station or a busy train station, and really connecting more within, starting to understand her own self and her inner light. And then the dove, spirit speaks through the body. And it says the body never lies. Right, so do you notice signals from your body? Have you ever had the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, or just this gut feeling come in? Right? Those are messages and signals. And the more you can get in tune with your own body and start to observe those and trust those, right, the more signals you will start to receive. And then at the bottom of the deck, the rose, I trust divine timing. Everything comes from within. So more of that energy from within. A lot of divine feminine energy in this reading, which is more about receiving. So receiving the signals, softening a little bit more. We are an ego and a soul. So maybe releasing sort of the grip the ego has on everything and tapping more into that softer space. All right, so we'll add a little bit of tarot to these cards just to get a little bit more information. I don't know, have you been on more of a soulful journey? You're checking out a tarot video, so I guess that's got to be at least a little bit of a yes. But remembering more of who you are. And in the book, it talked about being able to do that, in the face of difficult situations, or even once you've maybe made choices that you wish you hadn't, because none of us are perfect. Like I said, we are an ego and a soul. And so remembering more of that soul side of you, especially if the ego has taken over much more and is driving things fully. All right, so let's get a few with I know who I am. All right, the Hanged Man. So again, you might be shifting your perspective a little bit here. And I'm using the Angel Tarot. So number 21 on this card, desire for knowledge. Again, you may be on a journey trying to learn more. Maybe you're going down rabbit holes with different topics and different things. Also knowing that you are protected from, negativity, this says protects from liars, evil spells, and bad spirits. So maybe you even picture this white light of protection around you, like she is glowing with that white light, feeling fully protected. Angel Nekael, the Hanged Man. And you might even be in, kind of taking a pause right now, taking a step back and really listening more to yourself than others. Like only you really know who you are, regardless of maybe what others have told you throughout your life. Right? So really trusting the way you feel over what someone else is saying. And the Nine of Wands, because you could have even some wounds or traumas around that, whether it's from your upbringing or certain types of relationships that you've been in. Maybe you haven't always been treated well. And so not taking the way someone else is necessarily treating you as a sign of who you are, right? You're really special inside. And so really tapping more into that space if you have had some of those, negative experiences. And again, knowing that you are protected. Nine of Wands, number 51 on this card. Universal medicine, elevation of the soul, and the revelation of mysteries. So again, you're starting to discover more about yourself, more about who you are. You might even be noticing some of your patterns or repeated cycles, or just realizing like, oh, I feel this way actually because of this experience. This isn't really who I am, right? This is something that happened to me, whether it was in childhood or again, just somewhere along your path in life. And that might be, realizations that you're having about certain behaviors you might express now, or just the way you might feel, especially if it is more negative about yourself. So getting more into your soul space so you can start to unwrap and unlock, right, the magic of who you are and start to remember that. All right, and then we'll do some here with the body. Never lies, the dove. Have you seen any doves around? Right, doves are a symbol of peace. So again, definitely finding more peace within yourself. Let's see, Four of Swords, the God of Trinity, mission, protects against slander and impious people, number 41. So we've got 21, 51, 41. So there's some sort of a pattern there. So Spirit speaking through the body, this did come out in reverse. So Four of Swords can be about resting and meditating, and maybe that's something that you haven't had time to do or you haven't been willing to do possibly, right? Not everyone likes to be still. For many of us, that can be really uncomfortable, but maybe give it a try, because or I shouldn't say the only, but a really good way to be able to hear or find or realize or experience these signals with your body is to actually be more still, to tune out more of what's going on externally, right? To check in more with yourself. Again, that's definitely easier to do when you can tune out the noise. All right, Three of Swords of Wells. So there could even be, or as well, there could even be some heartache. We've got a number 39 on this card, Angel Rihael. And I'll put the angel names in the description that are on each of these cards in case you do like to connect with the angel realm. The quickly forgiving God with Three of Swords. Maybe there is a situation that you are really clinging to and that can have a stressful impact on your body. I was even just journaling about this for myself the other night. Like, I want to release some of these things that have really hurt my feelings, and I can tell I still have this grip somewhere on those, and I don't want that anymore. I want to feel lighter. I want to unblock those spaces, let things flow a little bit more, and not hold on to it so I don't keep drawing that same thing back to me as well. So I don't know if anyone else is experiencing or has experienced a similar thing or feels that way. Give me a like if that makes sense to you. Love and submission cures illness, influences paternal love, gives long life. All right, so there could be, again, wounds or traumas that have to do maybe with the father. So, daddy issues. Again, heartbreak around love. You could be holding on to a lot, again, in your body. And that can also make it really hard to tune in and tap into some of the signals. And again, check in with how you're feeling, because your body doesn't lie to you, right? If you're feeling pain or that keeps coming up and those emotions, which are part of the body, signals from the body, right? That means something is still there, even if you don't want it to be. So that might be worth looking into and addressing a little bit more. And then let's get one or two here with the Rose, trusting in divine timing. Everything comes from within. Again, tuning out more of what's going on outside of yourself. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune, as we're talking about divine timing. Isn't that quite a synchronicity? Wheel of Fortune is the divine timing card. Archangel Raphael, God has healed, right? So wounds will heal. You'll be able to heal through these traumas. It will happen in divine timing. Sometimes it's not as fast as we would like. Nobody likes to be dealing with pain or, feeling heartache or heartbreak. Healing heals all disorders, protects travelers and medical workers. All right, let's see here. So yeah, healing is coming. You're already in that process. Things will alchemize and transform. Maybe you've had something specific going on even with your body, and, you know, obviously getting input from, your medical professional and all of those things, but also dealing with things on the emotional level, on the soul level, and noticing how that can help the healing process. It can help improve different conditions. That is quite a bit of cards. Let's see here. That's so many. Let's try that again. Eight of Pentacles. This could be something that, you've tried working on it for a really long time. That one was like, no, I definitely want to come out. Angel Omael, Ace of Wands. Number 30, the Patient God. So as we're talking about timing again, like maybe you've had to be really, really patient. Maybe you've had to be patient with yourself. Fertility and multiplicity. I saw this card in the pre-shuffle. Protects against despair, helps one be patient. All right, so getting into that, I trust divine timing. Being patient is not always one of my strong suits. Is it one of yours? But getting more, again, into that softening, letting go of certain timelines or expectations, or really, locked in on it has to be exactly this way, because the universe may have something even better than you've imagined, planned, or coming your way once you're able to move through more of this healing. You could have even some trauma or wounding around fertility that could have been difficult for somebody. And maybe that's something that's going to be healed, whether you have your own baby, or maybe you even do something through adoption, or, help other children, or different things like that that's coming up right now. So being more patient. I actually know more than one person on the line of fertility that sort of gave up on having their own child. And once they let that go, they ended up getting pregnant. One couple I know even adopted a child first, and then they ended up, being pregnant as well. So there are definitely many ways to have a family, if that's a message for someone out there. But realize that once you're able to release and soften, right, once you're able to tap more into your heart space and realize your own divine light, get more in touch with your body, let things work through your body, let yourself heal, let yourself feel, which is not always pleasant. That's where things will be more fertile. That could be even your ideas and your creativity. Things may start to multiply. You may start to see more abundance coming in, and just noticing the things that are more positive and joyful and that really fill you up in your life. So this feels really, really good. Doing the work, it seems like. Tapping more within, getting more in touch with your divine feminine energy, right? Letting things flow, and then seeing, right, what sort of abundance, creativity, fertility will pop up. All right, so that's what we've got for this reading. I hope there was something here for you. And until next time, peace.